What is up? Happy Wednesday. Welcome on into Let's Bet It, presented by our friends at Superbook Sports. I'm Lauren Jabara. That's Jared Smith. Jared loved the makeshift backdrop. I'm all about it. You're there in Phoenix right now, right?
I'm like in a prison cell. Actually, this is the door to the next hotel room behind me. So knock really loud. Maybe he'll get upset. Usually I'm used to solitude in my just start pounding on the door. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is it's beautiful. I'm actually in Scottsdale, which is a little bit north of Phoenix. So I don't know if you're familiar, but the actual stadium itself is like super far from Phoenix. Glendale is
Yeah, it's in
not
Glendale,
far
right?
at all.
It's in
Yeah,
Glendale.
it's
Yeah.
really fun. And the Radio Row's downtown,
That's
so it's
where
like there's like this gigantic gap between the two locations where everyone is this
totally.
week. It's been
When I worked
fun.
for
No,
the
it's
Avs,
been
that's where we played. It's right out there in Glendale too, at Gila River Arena. So we always stayed out in Glendale. But Scottsdale is a way better place to be. So, and I know,
yeah.
I don't know if you feel like
Where
this, when
cool
I'm
kids
on the
are.
road sometimes and I'm in those early time zones, I'm always trying to be like a little bit quiet just so I don't wake people up around me. But,
I don't care.
screw it.
Wake up! It's
Screw it.
gambling time.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so first of all, before we even get into anything, we have to give LeBron James a shout out because last night he passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's all-time scoring record at 38 years old, which is unbelievable. 38,388 points, which held for, like, the number 38 is weird. It held for 38 years until last night. And LeBron also finished with 38 points on the night at 38 years old. No other player is even close to catching him at this point. They're all like more than 10,000 points away. But LeBron James, man, that was so freaking awesome to watch. Congratulations. I mean, that's unbelievable to break that record that stood for 38 years.
Didn't the Lakers lose the game though?
They
Right?
lost the game, but
They
that
lost.
doesn't matter. That doesn't matter, right?
I mean, kind of matters, but I'm happy for LeBron. Obviously, he's the GOAT. I mean, we can end this discussion right now. But it's so fitting in the Lakers season, like the kind of year that they've had for this. And I remember watching it, and I was like, I thought they were going to take him out because I really thought that they wanted it to happen against the Bucks. I thought the script was in. Kareem used to play for the Bucks. The Bucks are a big team, big name, big Giannis, all that stuff. I thought it was going to be like this made for Hollywood moment against Milwaukee. So I didn't think he was going to get there against the Thunder, but he did. And again, congratulations. But it's very fitting on the Lakers season for this milestone moment to happen. They stopped the game for like 20 minutes. It's in the third quarter. They just stopped the game. They do a speech, they do this whole song and a dance, and then the Lakers go on after that and lose the game. Like it's very fitting and it's very fun. Like if this was the old school LeBron Lakers, from a couple years ago when they were obviously, winning, and if it was a different time, maybe a different team, they don't lose that game. They especially against the Thunder. But that's just kind of the season it's been. But congrats, LeBron, obviously. Unbelievable accomplishment.
Yeah, it truly is unbelievable. I was on the plane on the way back from New Orleans watching it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we were all kind of like crowded around the computer just
That's
watching it. It
awesome.
was really cool.
That's awesome.
But yeah, 10 seconds left in the third quarter, and then it's like after that, after all the hoopla and rah rah, it's like, oh yeah, we actually have to like play a game now. So
Yeah, it was
I
weird.
just thought
It
it's
was
so
weird that they stopped the
yeah.
game like they did. I'll be honest. I don't think we don't see that very often. I think that was the
Yeah,
strangest
we
part
saw it when
for the
Steph
whole
Curry
experience.
broke the
That's
threes
right.
record last year, which was cool. And then we see it again
That's
for
right.
LeBron, which is awesome. But really emotional moment when Kareem handed LeBron the ball.
Yeah.
He loved to see it. Pretty crazy. We
How
have a
about
lot of
Thomas
football.
Bryant? Did you see the picture of him on the shot? Thomas
Yeah,
Bryant's like calling for the ball in the post. Like, dude, LeBron's
really?
taking the shot. Like, what are you doing,
Yeah,
bro? If I'm
yeah.
Thomas Bryant, I am framing that photo, and I'm gonna be like, look, I was open. LeBron, pass the ball, bud. What the hell?
It's a great shot. Nice 50-footer. You love to see it.
Yeah.
Congrats to
Come on.
LeBron.
I'm
That was
wide
pretty
open in the post,
incredible.
bro. Come on. Feed the big
Yeah,
man.
seriously though. We have a lot to get into today. We have some NFL action. Obviously, there's a big game called the Super Bowl that's going on in about
Eh,
5 days. That's going to be fun. But before we do, let's get into some college basketball, Jared. You love the Mountain West, don't you?
Yes,
SDSU
I
taking on
do.
Utah State today. Utah State laying 1.5 points. San Diego State, though, at the top of the conference right now. They're 9-2 in the conference, 18-5 overall. They've won their last game. With a team like Utah State, they're on a 3-game winning streak. They're kind of trying to creep up the conference standings right now. How do you feel like this game is going to play out?
Well, we have to sound the alarm, Miss Lauren Anjabara, because we have a
Ooh.
moment today. There it is, right there. There's the alarm. Actually, we have two alarms to
Yeah,
set.
my
The first
computer
one
going
will.
off.
It knew.
Great.
It called. I called for the
It
alarm,
did
and
know.
it did it for me. It listens to me. We are in control of the technology, not the other way around, people. There's two alarms to be set today. The first one I'll give you now. The next one will come in our play of the day. But my favorite trend in college basketball is back today in full force.
Ooh.
Unranked home favorites against ranked road teams. Here's the first one: Utah State, unranked, against 25th ranked San Diego State. It's not exactly the stinkiest line, as our buddy Tim Murray would say, out there today. Again, the stinkiest of the stink will come a little later in the show when we reveal our play of the day. But this game does have a little bit of those vibes to it because Utah State, as LJ mentioned, is in kind of the middle tier of this Mountain West Conference. They're behind San Diego State. They're behind Nevada. They are behind Boise State in terms of tiebreaker. So right now they're fourth in the conference, facing the first place team tonight at home, yet they are the favorite. And I think when you look a little deeper at this Utah State team, there's a lot of things to like. They're a top 15 offense. They shoot the three better than anyone. They shoot it overall, top 5 in EFG percentage, and they've won 3 straight games, including two really impressive offensive performances back-to-back at Colorado State, 88 points, and then home against New Mexico a week ago, they scored 84. So a lot to like about the San Diego State team. They're led by, I would say a pretty experienced backcourt, Ashworth and Shugla, and then they've got the big man Funk who can kind of create a little bit in the middle. So this is a very talented Utah State team led by a head coach who's been there before. And I think this is going to be a good spot for Ryan Odom and his bunch tonight. Meanwhile, San Diego State, they've been playing okay. They beat Boise State the other night, but I'll be honest, Boise State was without their best player, so I don't really know what to make of that game.
Yeah.
And then they went on the road, and they kind of got pushed around a little bit by Nevada in a game that I thought San Diego State was going to win last Tuesday. So the last two performances for the Aztecs, don't really know what to make of them. A loss on the road in Reno, and then a win over a shorthanded Boise State team. So I think going on the road tonight in Logan is going to be a tough environment for this Aztecs team. San Diego State's a balanced team, top 35 offense, defensive efficiency, but they don't do anything great. And they're not a great shooting team, and those percentages drop even more on the road. So I like Utah State tonight. I would play them at 1.5, 1. If you want to bet the money line, if it's 2, then I think that's fair. But I do think the unranked home favorites, it's a very popular spot. It's my favorite spot to bet in college hoops, but absolutely lay it with Utah State tonight.
Yeah, I like it. Before we bring in Iain to talk Super Bowl, we're going to talk the game that everyone is chit-chatting about today. UNLV taking on Wyoming. UNLV laying 2 points here. The total is set at 145.5. Wyoming's at the bottom of the Mountain West Division right now. UNLV not far above them. 4th worst in the division right now. And you see, UNLV's 4-7 in the conference. Wyoming 2-8. Why do you like this game, Jared? Tell me more. Why is this a good betting game?
I don't think it is to be. I don't think it's as good as the Utah State game. I think Utah, if all the games in the Mountain West, and this is only 2, I would absolutely bet the Utah State game over this one. But the total has gone up pretty significantly from 145.5, now sitting 147. Not a whole lot of movement with the spread. UNLV opened at 2. It kind of been hovering right around that number. It actually moved down a little bit towards Wyoming. I think the early action was on Wyoming a little bit, which kind of surprises me. I'll be honest. I didn't really like the way – I was actually in the building on Friday. I went to the UNLV game against Fresno State, and I watched a lot. I mean, I was trying to soak up as much as possible because I was on UNLV, and they didn't sniff a cover the whole night. They never got ahead of the number. And I don't really like the way this UNLV team plays defensively. And that's going to be a problem for them down the stretch. They let Fresno State, who's one of the worst offense in the Mountain West, just run up and down the floor and drop 82 on them. And that just, you can't let that happen at home in the conference against the bad offense. You can't let Fresno come into your building and score 80. They're one of the worst.
Yeah.
Again, they're 245th in offensive efficiency, and they're 334th in adjusted tempo. They're slow and they can't shoot, and they scored 82 on UNLV on the road the other night. So I'm not very high on this Wyoming team. If I were to play this, I'd probably take the points at home, but not a bet I'm going to make tonight. But I'm a little worried about this UNLV team if they can't figure things out defensively.
Yeah, I mean, right now they're fourth worst in the conference, so we'll see what happens with the Mountain West moving forward. But I'm so excited to talk more about the Super Bowl because we have the Chiefs taking on the Eagles. Let's bring in our good friend, Iain MacMillan, senior editor for BetSided and host of the Bacon Bets podcast to talk Super Bowl 57. Iain, happy Wednesday. How are you? Good friend of the show.
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me back on. This is, as you two know, the football season is a grind. We are at the end, only a few days left. I'm excited for the game and excited to take a break next week. I'm getting tired.
I know.
We don't take breaks.
I feel that.
It's hockey season for you. Come on.
That's
you don't
true.
take break. You don't sleep.
I'll still be betting on hockey, that's for sure.
I know only 2 games on the hockey slate tonight, so why not talk a little bit more about football? You love to see it. The Chiefs, right now, underdogs to the Eagles. Are they healthy enough right now, Iain, on offense to be able to win this game against a very solid defense and a really good pass rush that the Eagles have?
I think they certainly are healthy enough, especially with these 2 weeks, kind of the bye week that they get heading into the Super Bowl. But I mean, when you're trying to pick which side you want to win and you go down the list of, check marks for each team, the check mark would be next to the Eagles when you're just talking about which team is going to be more healthy. Now, does that mean the Chiefs can't win? Are they too banged up to win? No, I don't think so. I think they can still obviously win this game. I think, it's a 1.5 point spread for a reason. But if you were to give an edge in the injury department and the health department, I think it does certainly go towards the Eagles. Although I will say, I am slightly concerned about Jalen Hurts' shoulder. Obviously, 2 weeks off. Hopefully that'll get things fixed, but didn't actually really throw the ball really well the last 2 games. Didn't throw the ball a lot either. Now, obviously, they had huge leads, so they didn't have to throw the ball. But that is a little bit concerning for me on the Eagles front. We'll see what happens if they do have to throw the ball a lot in the Super Bowl. But still, even with that being the case, overall for each team, I think the health edge does probably go towards the Eagles.
Yeah, for Jalen, lowest adjusted accuracy of the season against the Niners, lowest yards per attempt of the season, one of the longest time to throw rates, 0 big-time throws, and only 1 scramble. It's fair to say it was one. I know, you're right. They didn't really need him to be good. But it's fair to say that the NFC Championship game was one of his worst performances of the year, metrically, analytically speaking. So that means the running game might be a prominent force for the Eagles this week. Obviously, they have a plethora of backs to choose from. Kenneth Gainwell's been kind of the trendy, pick over the last few days. I've seen a lot of movement on his rushing yards total. But that kind of pushes me back towards Miles Sanders, another guy that probably could use that extra week off. If you had to choose one of these Eagles running backs to get in the end zone on Sunday, who would you pick?
Yeah, I already chose Kenneth Gainwell a little bit earlier in the week. I'm just trying to see how much of his rushing yards total has moved recently. Still at 19.5 for his total. But yeah, Kenneth Gainwell, 160 total yards the past 2 games. You guys have heard this all by now. His snap percentage has gone up a little bit as well. 42% of snaps last week, 37% of snaps against the Giants. That's higher than what his season averages were. So he seems to be the guy who's getting a little bit more of the workload, or at least more of the workload than what he saw throughout the regular season. Now, I still do think Miles Sanders is the guy. I think he probably will still get the majority of work. But Kenneth Gainwell still rushing yards total. I just saw 19.5 at some places. I still like the over on that. I think Miles Sanders is more likely to score, but I would rather just take the increased odds on Gainwell and see if they're just going to ride the hot hand. So I'll go with Gainwell, but Miles Sanders is still number 1 in that backfield.
Yeah, when you look at a game like this, we talk about the running game too. I like Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown just because he scored so many rushing touchdowns over the last few games. I think he has 6 in his last 5 games. It cashed in it cashed 2 weeks ago for me. So why not just go back to that well and do it again? What other bets or prop bets have you made so far for the Super Bowl in 5 days?
I have made, I think the final count that I'm sitting at right now is 23 different bets.
Wow.
I
Oh my
love the
gosh.
Super Bowl. When I go to when I sit down to bet on the Super Bowl and watch it, it is not, the Super Bowl to me is not an event that I'm necessarily looking to profit on. It's more of, it's the one night a year betting where it's just for fun. I'm firing on everything. I got a bet on the anthem. I got a bet on the coin toss. I got a bet on the color of the
What's your
Gatorade.
Gatorade color? What is your Gatorade
My
color?
Gatorade
This is
color
a big-
is
Give me your novelty.
yellow, lime / green is my Gatorade color. Got
Okay.
on the plus 225.
I love
Reason why? I don't really have one. The Eagles are a green
Yeah,
team.
there's really no like argument against
who
the Gatorade.
knows?
Like, it's like, I always laugh. Like, people ask me, I go on these shows, they're like, "Oh, what's the Gatorade color?" I was like, guys, if you need the sharp insight on what the Gatorade color is going to be,
Right.
you got problems in your life. Like, just pick whatever the heck you like.
Right. Go with your gut feeling and hope for the best. I will say
For
one
real.
bet that I do like, and I've seen a few people on this one, so maybe it's kind of a popular one here, but I kind of like Hassan Reddick to win Super Bowl MVP. I got him at 35 to 1. He is kind of the defensive player that's being tossed around here to win Super Bowl MVP. But I mean, if the Eagles do win, a big part of that is going to be their defense shutting down Patrick Mahomes and this Chiefs offense. And if you're looking for an Eagles player that can get it done in several different ways, it's Hassan Reddick. 16 sacks, I believe, in the regular season, 5 forced fumbles. Who knows? Maybe he can get an interception. Maybe he can get a fumble recovery. I know Darius Slay is another little bit of an option, but he's probably going to be a guy that would have to get like 2 interceptions. But Hassan Reddick, obviously being a linebacker, could get an interception, a couple sacks, could be enough to get it done. So I do like that for a little bit of a dark horse Super Bowl MVP bet.
Yeah, you never know. All right, who's going to win the game, Ian? That's the most important part. I hope one of those bets is on your card. You got everything else on there, huh?
Of course. My biggest of the card here. I like the Eagles. I'm going to take the Eagles to win this one. I was lucky enough to jump on it very early. I got them at a pick'em minus 110. I wasn't lucky enough to get them as a 1.5 point underdog where it opened up, but I got them at a pick'em. I still like it at minus 1.5, minus 2.5. I probably wouldn't play it. But with it being down around minus 1.5, it looks like in most places. I do like that play. I just think the difference is going to be the defense in this game. I know there's the argument about strength of schedule. There's the argument, which is a fair one, that they haven't really played a ton of really good quarterbacks, but I can't look past first in opponent yards per play, first in opponent yards per pass attempt, first in sack percentage, taking down the opposing quarterback on 11.49% of their dropbacks. I think both offenses are very similar, barring the health of both quarterbacks, to be fair. But I think the defense gives the Eagles a huge advantage. And one area that the Chiefs have struggled in all year, which could cost them in this one, especially where it could be a shootout, is their red zone defense. One of the worst red zone defenses in all of football, 30th in opponent red zone touchdown scoring percentage. If they can't stop the Eagles in the red zone and the Eagles score a touchdown every time they get down close, but the Eagles defense, which has been a very good red zone defense, is able to hold the Chiefs to field goals at times, that could be the difference maker in this game. So I'm going to back the Eagles, but hey, the spread shows it. This is a close game. Could go either way. I'm excited. It's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, it is going to be a fun one. Last but not least, before we let you go, heads or tails? Which one?
No,
I got heads.
Of course,
I got heads.
You're going against tails never fails?
I think
Wow.
heads. I think heads has gone 4-1 in the last 5. So you got to back the trend.
Oh, that's the hard hitting data we need right there.
That's right.
That's the hard
exactly.
Hitting. Always leave them laughing there, Ian. Leave them with a smile. That's the winner. Right there.
I think if you look at total tails versus heads numbers, I think tails has hit
All
2
time.
more times than heads. So you'd think because it's a coin flip, it's eventually going to get back to 50-50 at some point. So the heads needs to win 2 more times.
That's literally the
and it's
gambler's
50-50.
fallacy. I'll pose you this question. Hold on, I want to pose him this question. So you walk into a casino and they flip a coin.
Yes.
And you can look at what the flips were. Like, you know, when you go to a roulette table, you can see what the prior numbers were. And you see that on the screen, 100 straight tails have been flipped. 100 in a row. What are you betting on the 101st try? Exactly. That's literally the gambler's fallacy.
No,
I do that all the time. Every single person does that. We justify things and decisions in our life by using the gambler's fallacy. But I just like to make it known that that's what it is.
Yeah,
but it's
no,
okay.
of course. And I am joking. I mean, this is a coin toss. There's literally nothing to handicap. So I'm just citing that stuff just as a joke. But yeah, I'll go heads. We'll see what happens.
I like it.
Heads it
hey, Iain, heads is due. Heads is due.
Yes.
I'm right there
Heads
with
is
you.
due.
I'm all about it. Thank you so much for coming on. We so appreciate you. We'll be talking to you in the future. I love it. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks so much. Take care. Good luck with your bets this weekend.
Iain. Good to see you,
you
bud.
too, Iain. Appreciate it. That is Iain MacMillan. Wow, words are hard sometimes. That is Iain MacMillan. You can follow him on Twitter at Iain McBeth, senior editor for BetSided and host of the Bacon Bets podcast. You'll love to see it. We were going to have our other friend on, but he's not coming on today. So we have our best bets. We have Superbook Sports. Is there any other college basketball you want to talk about today, Jared? You want to tell me a story about being down in Scottsdale right now? What's the best part so far?
It's been pretty quiet so far. It's going to start to pick up today. I'm going down to Radio Row today to do some stuff. Yesterday was kind of like a acclimated day. I didn't do a whole lot of content other than the show this morning and then a couple of radio interviews. But today it'll start to pick up, and then Thursday and Friday will be super busy. And then, I'll be back in my crib Friday night, and then Sunday morning, we'll reconvene on Sunday. And we will we'll kick this thing off. But it's been quiet so far this week. I'll have some good stories for you guys on Friday morning. After the rest.
I want all the stories.
But today and tomorrow it'll be pretty slammed. I'm excited. I've actually never been to Radio Row before. It'll be my first time on Radio Row, so that'll be fun. And then I'll do some stuff with all the various outlets. I've already had a few people that have asked me like, "Oh, you're going to be on Radio Row? Come do a little." It's like from what I'm told. Again, I don't know. You just walk down and like people will be like, "Oh, you're here. Come do an interview really quick." So that'll be fun. It'll be an exciting week. There'll be a lot of fun memories to be shared, no doubt.
Yeah, I really like it. I'm excited to hear all the stories. Let's talk about Superbook Sports. Let's bet it. Is presented. I am struggling talking today, Jared. It is presented by our friends at Superbook Sports. Go to superbook.com or download the app today. And this season, we are all rooting for safeties. That's because Superbook will give you a $50 bonus on each safety scored this season. Just place a $100 pregame bet on any spread or any total. And if there's a safety scored in any game on Sunday, you, my friends, get a $50 bonus. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. From superbook.com to Pickswise.com. 3-star plays of the day. Who do we got on the site?
We've got my boys. The Penn State Nittany Lions are making an appearance today, thanks to Sam Abalone. They're home against Wisconsin. I was considering this bet, but I can't lay with Penn State. It's tough. But he is on the Nittany Lions today. We've got Philip Tomich chiming in with Kings Rockets, and we've got Kyle Lupus on Creighton Seton Hall. So some college hoops, some NBA, and then James Milton actually has 3 English Premier League picks that will take place on Saturday. So he got his work in for the weekend very early. If you're interested in locking in some early EPL Saturday picks, those are there for you as well. But we've got 3 hoops games on the site for tonight, in addition to the one I am about to give you.
I love it. Okay, give it to us. We're waiting. We're sitting here.
Woo!
Drum roll.
This is, again, anytime we can get a shout out to our pal Tim Murray on the show, it's always a good day. This is the stinky line of the day. One of the stinkier lines of the season. West Virginia, unranked. West Virginia at home, a 3.5-point favorite against 11th ranked Iowa State. So I'll give you the numbers and then I'll give you a brief handicap because really the trend is what is driving this pick. But the trend says unranked home favorites are 23-10 ATS against the number this year against ranked road teams. To shorten the sample size to top 15 teams. So just picture that. An unranked team at home against a top 15 team. The unranked home favorite, 9-3 against the number. That's a 75% hit rate. Again, small sample size this season. But if you weight that sample over the last 5 years, this is about a 55-56% trend. So it's a profitable trend. And this season, it has been highly profitable. And now we look at the handicap. Well, Iowa State's coming off of an unbelievable win, an unreal win over Kansas. Home at Hilton Arena, they won by 15 points against arguably one of the best teams in the country. But life on the road in the Big 12 is very difficult. We saw it last night. TCU, without their best player, really struggled to keep up with Kansas State. They won by 21. Tonight, I don't think West Virginia is going to win by 21, but I just think at home in Morgantown, they're going to have an edge over an Iowa State team that really struggles on the road. Their last 3 games on the road, lost by 3 at Texas Tech, lost by 17 at Missouri, and then lost by a bucket at Oklahoma State, and then they lost by 2 at Kansas prior to that. So they've lost 4 consecutive road games. They did cover against Kansas, but they've lost 3 straight against the number. Iowa State, they're not an overly talented team. They're a much better defensive team than they are on the offensive end. West Virginia, I would say, a little bit more balanced. But that trend, I cannot ignore that trend. The unranked home favorites are just crushing it this season. So we'll lay it with the Mountaineers tonight at home against Iowa State.
I like it. You got the basketball, I got the hockey. There's only 2 games on the slate tonight. There was 6 yesterday. There's 7 tomorrow. But the game that I'm looking at is the Minnesota Wild taking on the Dallas Stars. I like 2 things here. I like the Stars money line. I was going to bet the Stars 60-minute money line, but so many of their games have been going into overtime. They've been struggling putting teams away. So I don't want to risk that. I don't want to risk it for the biscuit in that situation, but I like the Stars money line, and I also like the under in a game like this. A guy like Jake Ottinger has had a phenomenal season right now. I mean, he has 22, 7, and 7. He has a 2.25 goals against average, 925 save percentage. He's been so solid between the pipes, and now you're going up against a Minnesota Wild team who, yes, has a lot of really solid players. Obviously, Kirill Kaprizov, Matt Zuccarello, Matt Boldy, Joel Eriksson-Ek. They've been phenomenal, but they haven't had any secondary scoring. The team's only scored 12 goals in their last 5 games. And with Jake Ottinger playing the way he is between the pipes, I think it's going to be really hard for the Wild to be able to score goals. I like the under. I know the total's set at 5.5. Makes me a little bit nervous that it's a little bit lower than 6. I would feel comfortable if it's at 6, but that's why the lines are so sharp, right? So I like the under 5.5, and the Dallas Stars, they've been playing really, really well recently. They had an overtime win, I think, 2 days ago against the Ducks, and now they're playing at home again. I feel like that home cooking's going to be treating them well, and having a guy like Jake Ottinger in between the pipes guarantees you a win in that spot. So Stars money line, not 60-minute money line, regular money line, and the under 5.5 for that game. I guess I'm giving out 2 plays of the day. I was on 5 hockey bets yesterday. I hit 4 of them. And the one I didn't hit was my play of the day. Of course.
That's always how it goes. That's always
literally always how it goes. So you hate to see it, but that's okay. We're back at it.
The play of the days are just put them all the same. Bet all the bets the same, and you'll never have to worry about that.
Absolutely. That's it for us today, guys. Find us on the Pickswise YouTube channel. Go to Pickswise.com. Follow us on Twitter. Jared Smith. I'm Lauren Jabara. Jared, have fun in Scottsdale. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Until then, peace out. We'll see you.